Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Stefan, and in this video I want to show you and review for you this beautiful instrument by DONNER, this digital piano, the DDP-200. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so, and if you like what you see, give this video a thumbs up. So this video is kind of one of a kind because I haven't done one such video yet. It's quite difficult to review pianos as they are quite big, but DONNER was kind enough to send me this piano to review for you guys, and of course you'll hear nothing but my honest opinion, and I'm very excited to share with you my thoughts of this piano and to play for you a little bit and show you what it can do. So who is this piano for and what are the specs of the piano? I would say the piano is trying to target beginner and intermediate students and pianists who want a beautiful instrument that's not going to rob the bank, so something within a more manageable budget. The piano has a lot of features that you would only find on much more expensive pianos, and for that reason it's almost like a hybrid because you can get it at a much lower price than similar pianos with similar capabilities. So the piano, as you can see, is in a beautiful wooden case, which is my absolute favorite. When I saw the picture the first time, I was like, yes, I do want to see this. I do want to try this out. Obviously, it's an instrument, but it's also a beautiful piece of furniture in any room and is going to make any room look nicer. The piano came in a flat pack box and I had to make it myself. It didn't take a long time, I would say 10-12 minutes. And I filmed it so you can see it here sped up now. It was fairly simple, just a few bolts to put in, build the legs first, and then put the piano on top. Now the piano is not too heavy, it's around 40 kilograms, so 80 pounds, and I managed to build it myself easily, but you know, I would suggest probably to get someone to hold it when you place the piano on top of the legs. It can be a little bit bulky and heavy, but it's totally manageable alone as well. So it doesn't take a long time to put it together, and it came very well packed, so no damage to any parts of it. The piano has 88 graded hammer action keys, so it's supposed to feel like a grand piano action or something very similar, but I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. And it has quite a few ins and outs, so it has a DC adapter, and it doesn't run on batteries. It's too big to run on batteries. It also has an aux output if you want to hook it up to an amplifier or some speakers. It also has two stereo headphone jacks on the left side of the piano if you want to play with a friend or if you want to have a lesson with your teacher but you don't want to disturb anyone, so you can both have headphones. And it also has a MIDI output, which is extremely important if you want to hook it up to some other piano sounds or if you want to record some jamming sessions or whatever you want to record. It obviously transfers USB MIDI data into your computer or laptop, and it also has Bluetooth connectivity, so you can connect it through Bluetooth and record that way. The piano has 3 pedals, which are identical to the ones found on a grand piano. So the left one is a una corda or soft pedal, the middle one is a sostenuto pedal, and the right pedal is a damper or sustain pedal. So very useful to have those 3, and as you can see on the video, or the close-up pictures, is that the pedals are very nicely cased into this wooden base, and they have a thing at the bottom which kind of stops the pedals from moving, so it feels very sturdy. It has a good response to the action, to the playing, and it doesn't make any squeaky sounds that you wouldn't want to hear in your playing. Let's have a look at the rest of the piano now. So I can take this off here, and the music stand closes. And then if you close the piano, it's actually almost like a lovely little side table. Now, obviously, it's an instrument, you want to play it, but if you don't play it for longer periods of time, you can put photos on it or anything on the top because it's a very nice finish. And then it opens up like that, and the music stand is here, and you don't need to worry about the music stand hitting the keys because it's magnetic and it's really strongly attaching to the magnetic bit. And then you can just open it up, and there are 2 little bits here that go in, and then it's done. Now, my only complaint about the actual design of the product, because it looks really good, it functions very well, is the music stand. Let's say I find some music on the internet and I print it out and I want to play it and I put it here, then as you can see, obviously it bends. And this happens with thinner paper books, which don't have a hardcover or something very strong behind. Now, it's not the end of the world. You can always just put a book behind and support it, but pianos usually should have a slightly longer music stand in order to be able to support any kind of book without bending. But as I said, you can get around this by putting something harder behind the paper. Now, I understand why they did this, because obviously this music stand folds inside the lid, and if it was bigger it couldn't fold in, but you could always put, you know, some metal arms that kind of pop up and extend the music stand. It's just an idea from a musician to a piano maker. So let's have a look now at the piano. Finally, let's play some tunes. The first thing I want to talk about, I'm going to talk about two things. One is the action and the second is the sound. So when we have a look at the built-in functions, it doesn't have quite so many as other pianos of this size. So it has 3 piano sounds, which is a standard grand piano, a stage piano, and an ambient piano. It has 2 string sounds, and it has an organ sound as well. Apart from that, it also has a few built-in demo songs, and it has obviously a metronome function, which you can set the time and the time signature for, very, very useful. And then you can also set the reverb amount, like how much reverb do you want. And that's all the functions within the piano. The one thing I'm really missing from the functions is the transposition function, because that's something very useful when you play with other people, or if you want to accompany yourself, like you play a song and you want to sing as well, but it feels too high. If you're a beginner or even an intermediate pianist, even sometimes an advanced pianist, it's very difficult to transpose in your head. And if you have to do it on paper, it takes a long time. In many digital pianos, you have the function to be able to transpose, which obviously makes it much easier to change the key and find something suitable if you want to sing along. Now, let's have a look at some of the sounds here. The first sound is the grand piano, which sounds like this. The second sound is stage piano. It's just a little bit different. I think it sounds a bit more poppy. And the third one is an ambient piano sound, which I think has a little bit more reverb to it. And then you've got the strings you can use for like, I don't know, wedding music or something like that. And then my absolute favorite from these alternate sounds is the organ sound, which I find actually really pretty. And you could even, you know, sing along with this. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. So you can do things like that. Now let's talk a little bit about action. A piano has obviously 2 functions. One is the action, the other one is the sound. The good thing about digital pianos is that you're never really stuck with any sound, because nowadays with technology, you can buy so many different sound samples, and you can also get free samples which sound amazingly good and have all kinds of different qualities that you might be looking for. So you can actually play any piano sound, whether it's a Steinway, Yamaha, Bosendorfer, or some kind of vintage piano sound. That's not really the issue. The action is the most important one, because that's what you're going to play, and ultimately that's what makes playing very enjoyable. Now, as I said, this is a graded action, which means that the keys feel much heavier in the bass section and much lighter in the top section. And the keys feel really, really good. So this was one of the biggest surprises with this piano. Many digital pianos feel very springy, and the keys just don't bounce up quick enough to be able to do quick repetitions or play very nice trills or things like that. The only thing I noticed, since I have a grand piano upstairs and that has a very heavy action, is that the action on this one actually is very light compared to that, which is not a bad thing. It's going to be very good for beginners because you don't have to work so hard to make the sound, but it does feel a little lighter compared to what an actual grand piano should feel like. So the other good thing is, as I said, the repetition is quite good on the piano. So if I play like repeated notes quickly, then the keys bounce up quick enough so you can actually hear it. And sometimes you can't actually do this on a digital piano because the keys don't come up quick enough. So it would be difficult to do trills on the piano. All in all, the action feels very nice. It is really graded, so you can actually feel the keys are heavier, but it's a slightly lighter action. So on the spectrum, I would say it's medium to light instead of medium or medium to heavy. So let's see a few more pieces here to see what the piano sounds like in different contexts. So all in all, I think you can see it's a really beautiful and good instrument. A couple of moans and groans here about the music stand, and the sound could be a little bit more polished, but the action is really good, and I think that's the key part when you actually want to enjoy playing the piano. The outside looks beautiful, and I think comparing it to other instruments of the same price, you get a much better value for money. And I think sometimes you can find it for as low as $500-600 or pounds. It's an extremely good value for money, and you're going to really enjoy playing on this piano. If you have any more questions about the DONNER DDP-200, leave them in the comments. Don't forget to use the code STEFAN to get an additional 15-20% off your order.